order for let's spill the tea.
Aw, and we recorded. Hi.
Hi.
Corey's tea this week, I'm gonna say it for her. She lost her voice this morning. So she's gonna sound, you're gonna have that nice Markiplier voice. But, yeah, it's gonna be a fun one for you. What is that? My phone is, like, covering. What is that? Oh, it's your water. Okay. It's because of where my phone is propped up for the camera. It's, like, blocking, like, your, like, nose down. So
I'm just eyes.
you're just eyes. Well, yeah, that's your tea this week. My tea, I mean, we literally just saw each other, like, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
We literally just recorded. It's a double week, for us, not listeners, obviously. Because someone's going on vacation.
Okay, well, sorry.
Yeah, I was not invited. The audacity.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was rough.
I think I might need to go get tea.
Maybe.
Have a conversation while I'm gone, I guess.
Oh my god. All right, I'll just talk about my tea. So I guess my tea this week is, I mean, I will kind of want Corey to hear this, so I'm probably gonna have to say it twice. Yeah, no, screw that. I'm just gonna fucking wait. Oh my god, she's back. You're back.
This is gonna be the most lame episode ever.
No, I honestly, I kind of was like, I'm not just gonna talk to myself because then I'm just gonna have to repeat my tea this week to you. So I'm gonna put like a sensor in for a time skip because we don't have a time skip sound. We need a time skip sound. Ew. Anyway, so my tea this week is I'm giving chef energy. I am a cook. Yesterday, I'm eating them for lunch right now. I did some prep work for some meals. All right. So, over the weekend, the past weekend before, whatever weekend it was, we went to, this obviously is not going to triangulate us because this was a big, like, statewide announcement. My whole family went to the Cherry Hill H Mart grand opening weekend. First of all, I got so claustrophobic in there. I was like, Sky was like zooming through, and I'm just like, Sky, I have the cart. I have to figure my way through all these people who also have carts. But we made it out, spent $300. But to be fair, it was like split. Sky and I combined our order into one. My parents did their own. And then my dad was like, oh shit, I forgot to grab a couple things. And then we got a free box of ramyun, like a 16 pack, I think it was. And I gave you one. Did you try it yet? How was it? Like, you realize you're like nodding and our listeners can't tell.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I sound like a dying seal, so I don't
Well,
really
that
want to talk that
sucks.
much.
How was it?
Fine.
It was just a spicy ramyun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I
so,
also had the spicy bulldog, which was really good.
oh, you mean the spicy?
Yeah.
The sweet and spicy? That one I really like, especially because it has sprinkles in it. The sprinkles add a little bit of flair. But no, so like we had a choice of like a 5-pound bag of rice or a giant box of ramyun. My parents got the rice from their order. I guess this was beneficial. We did do 2 separate orders. But yeah, so like I got a ton of ingredients and I made homemade crab rangoons and bulldog spring rolls. So you're confused about the spring rolls. So I saw like a video of a few people like making it, and it looked so good. So you make a pack of bulldog, any flavor. I chose the quattro cheese because I wanted it cheesy. Um, then you wet rice paper. You put like shredded cheese in there as well, and then you wrap it up like a little burrito, and then you bread it and deep fry it. And it is actually what I'm eating for lunch right now. And it is.
That looks.
It
so
would have been
good.
better fresh, obviously, because I made these yesterday to eat today. And that's when I texted you. I'm like, "Fuck, these aren't cooked enough. I have to go cook it longer." Um, but they fucking slap. It is delicious. And I know how you are about melted cheese and stuff. I would make you one of these with like the spicy. And so you wouldn't have all that extra cheese and stuff in there. But you would have to help me make it because they're for you. And I would like the assist because Skylar was supposed to assist, but then they're like, I'm too tired. So while you're sharing your story, I'm probably going to be eating my lunch. Do you have lunch? We don't even need to talk about the tea we're drinking, which I don't. I have coffee because it's so fucking early for us. What's your lunch? You're not eating lunch?
I had.
Oh, you ate
taco
already.
bowl.
You had another taco bowl? Yum yum. Well, I'm gonna shut up so you can. Okay, I'm gonna shut up about banter, and then I'm gonna jump into my story so you can restore your voice for your story. So today we are talking about Jack Gilbert Graham. Out of fucking nowhere. Did it taste like taco? Yeah.
I went to talk and a burp came out, and I also made my nose run at the same time.
Oh my
when I
god,
burped.
bro, you're broken. But no, so Jack Gilbert Graham. I'm gonna preface this story with I need to define some things, some differences between because I've been doing a lot of serial killers lately. So the difference between a mass murderer and a serial killer. A mass murderer kills a ton of people in one instance, while a serial killer kills multiple people over a course of time. It's the time frame.
Specific amount of time.
Yes, in a specific amount of time. Thank you. But it's still like over a period of time. It's not all at once.
Yeah, they have a cool down period.
And then you have also mass genocide, which also falls under that category, but that's usually targeted towards a certain demographic, such as World War II is literally just a mass genocide. So yeah, I just wanted to preface that before I jumped into it, because like I said, we've been doing a lot of serial killers lately. Graham is not a serial killer. He is a mass murderer, and we're going to go through that on why. So, Graham was born January 23rd, 1932. This was a while ago. And he became a mass murderer just over a grudge. Now, gee, I wonder what this grudge is. We're going to jump right into it, okay? So, his mother, Daisy, gave birth to him with her second husband, William. And he has an older sister from her first marriage. So William died due to pneumonia in 1937, so around when he was only 5 years old, which led the Grahams into poverty. So Daisy gave up Jack to an orphanage. It's sad. I know, it's sad. Well, 4 years later, his mother remarried Earl King, who died soon after. Like literally like, okay, girl, you trying to get that bank. I see how it is. No, I'm kidding. We don't know. I could not find what he died of, whether it was an accident or just natural causes. Because like I said, her second, I don't know what happened. Also, I think the first one was a divorce. But the second marriage, it was pneumonia. What was he going to do? She didn't cause it, as far as we know. She didn't want to, because William was making all the money. Once he died, there was no money. So basically,
so awkward. Sorry.
no, it's okay. So she got an inheritance, obviously, from her husband dying. It led to her becoming a successful businesswoman. But she did not go to collect her son. She never picked him up from the orphanage, even though she now had the money to take care of him. Also, I will say she kept the daughter. She only gave up Jack. So they would be estranged until 1954. He'd be 22 at this time. And they just had a poor relationship. They fought a lot, obviously. It's like, oh my God. Like, no wonder he has a grudge. I would. If my mother had the means to, like, it would, like, yes, okay, giving up your child because you don't have the means to take care of them. That is a very honorable thing to do, but it's also very sad. It's a very hard decision to make. And I'm guessing his older sister was like old enough to take care of herself at that point, if I remember correctly. So like she kept her daughter, but not her young son. It was really sad. But 17 years later. It is very sad. So, before his crime in 1955, Daisy's restaurant was destroyed in a gas explosion. He was suspected of causing it, but he was never convicted. Which he still, later on, no one was ever convicted of it, even though someone admitted to it. I'll explain why later. So, Graham married Gloria Elson, and they had 2 kids, Alan and Suzanne. They were only babies at the time of the crime. Which, cool. So after, obviously I'm spoiling the story right now, talking about his kids. After his execution, the kids went back to their mother's maiden name. Alan married, and here's wild fucking thing. So Alan married Denise Marie in 1976, but they would both go missing October 16th, 1981 in Curry County, Oregon, and are currently presumed dead at this point. But like they were never found. They just vanished. What? Yeah. It's insane. So, let's get into the crime. No more backstory. I still want to know what happened to his son, though. Like, fucking insane. So, November 1st, 1955, at 6:52 p.m., United Airlines Flight 629, with 44 people on board, took off from Stapleton Airport in Denver, headed for Portland, Oregon. Only 11 minutes later, the plane crashed.
No way you're about to talk about a plane thing when I'm about to get on a plane tomorrow. Oh my gosh. That's the only thing I'm going to be thinking about when I'm on the plane tomorrow.
Listen, I told you when I go to Japan, fuck with my head. So, anyway, 11 minutes later, the plane crashed on a sugar beet farm near Longmont, Colorado. All 44 people, including a baby, killed instantly, including the wife of an aide to Eisenhower. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, first of all, the baby got me, but then someone who had a relation to the president at the time, that's like fucking insane. So, fingerprint experts from the FBI arrived at the scene the next day. They recovered the bodies and took them to Greenlee and set them in a temporary morgue in the National Guard Armory. Like, it was the closest thing, and they weren't going to bury the bodies because an investigation was happening. And so I don't know what a temporary morgue would look like in an armory. I don't know. So 60% of the victims were in the FBI files already. So thankfully they were identified by their fingerprints. Great. The other 40%, it took a little more time. So 14 of them were unidentified. 2 men and 12 women. They were later identified by personal objects or their relatives. So everyone was identified at that point. The evidence from the wreckage was collected between November 2nd and 7th. The tail section was cleanly severed and had fallen approximately 1.5 miles from the engines and from where the engines and the nose landed, which is insane. So, like, my theory was, okay, so the explosion had to have happened near the back of the plane, which is what happened. Because, well, if you take in consideration, it depends on where, like, the engines severed. If the engines are still connected to the control panel, obviously, it can still go a little further. And obviously, gravity, just the way it goes. Science, I'm really bad at it. So the middle section of the plane was completely scattered, torn apart. And there was no possible cause of a malfunction. I'm so sorry that I'm talking about planes right now. Like, I didn't even think of that, to be honest. I just wanted a shorter story. Because we got time crunch today. So, because there was no possible cause of a malfunction, this officially became a criminal investigation, and there were signs of sabotage. So approximately 200 people were interviewed in a 140 square mile area of the crash, and only 37 of them would give valuable information to help the case. Imagine speaking to 163 people and them just not helping. I'd be so annoyed. So, after reviewing the information, they realized an initial explosion happened mid-air with, quote, tremendous force causing fiery streamers to fall from the plane. And then there was a second explosion when the engines and forward compartment hit the ground by one or more of the fuel tanks. So the second explosion was not sabotage, it was just due to the crash, if that makes sense. So a witness who worked as a control tower operator at Stapleton Airport saw the explosion at 7:03 p.m. Like, he was just in the tower and then he sees it happen. Just imagine. I freaking can't. So officials calculated the explosion occurred 8 miles east of Longmont, Colorado, 10,800 feet above sea level and 5,782 feet above the terrain. Which, like, I'm pretty sure, like, 10,000 feet above sea level is, like, the usual. Isn't that, like, the approximate height they want to get a plane? Something like that? Yeah, something like that. I know this is a one-sided conversation because, like, you guys can't see Corey trying to give me, like, expressions, but I'm trying. So they recovered as many materials as they could. Hunters and passerbys who searched the area continued to find mail and insulation later on after they finished collecting materials. Which, great job, guys. You missed a bit. So, with that information, they extended the search area to hopefully find remains of a bomb. There wasn't much. All central wreckage, baggage, cargo, personal effects, etc., were taken to a large warehouse. Mail was sent to postal inspectors, and they were able to create a mock-up of the central section of the plane with wood and wire, like a giant-ass puzzle. Which it actually is very common in plane investigations, is that they will actually try to, like, recreate what happened. Not actually cause, like, an explosion, but, like, show what it looked like and where it could have occurred. It's I've kind of seen some like pictures and videos about it. It's hard to recreate it. So once the mock-up was made, they concluded that the explosion happened in the rear cargo pit. Um, the point of explosion further pinpointed almost directly across the cargo compartment from the cargo loading door, so it just kind of went whew, like across, if that makes sense. So conclusions were, quote, based on the fact that stringers at this point had failed in outward bending and pieces of heavy fuselage skin recovered and fitted into the area had been shattered into small pieces. So this was a big explosion. Like, this wasn't just like a pew, pew, pew. Like, no. No, this was like massive. Yes. So during the terrain and wreckage search, 5 small fragments of sheet metal were found that did not match the plane or cargo. So it was badly burned and coated with a gray soot-like deposit, which is associated with the residue of an explosion. One fragment was red and had HO in blue letters, which was identified as a portion of a 6-volt battery, which was part of the bomb. Because why else would they have a 6-volt battery? Like, at first I was like reading it and I'm just like, are they calling this thing a hoe? Like, what the fuck? I was a little confused. I was really tired doing these notes. So there were many deposits on the fragments and they ranged from white to dark gray. So that just shows like how badly burned these things were. Sodium carbonate was mostly present. Nitrate and sulfur compounds were also found. And dynamite consisted of nitroglycerin with varying amounts of sodium nitrate, sulfur, and other materials. So they're like, okay, we identified it is dynamite. Someone used dynamite. So as the investigation progressed, background checks on all victims were made. They tried to look for motive, and they also investigated people who bought tickets for this flight but canceled or never arrived because maybe they just threw something on there and then booked it. You never know. So descriptions of luggage were obtained and the possible contents inside to also help. A lot of personal effects from our victim, Daisy E. King. Do you remember who that is? That's his mother.
Oh.
So, yeah, her personal effects were recovered and closely examined. This included personal letters, news clippings about her family, her personalized checkbook, $1,000 in traveler's checks, an address list, and 2 keys with a receipt for safety deposit boxes. So the news clippings have been about her son and his criminal charges, which was forgery by the Denver County District Attorney and was on the most wanted list. I'm going to be honest, I can't really remember what he was caught doing forgery on off the top of my head. I don't remember if I talked about it or not. So during a search of his home, November 13th, 1955, Graham had a duplicate travel insurance policy for Daisy in $37,500, which nowadays, remember, this is like a life insurance travel policy kind of thing. Nowadays, that is $455,555.30. That's fucking bank for a life insurance policy. I mean, nowadays, that's not much. Because, like, you want, like, a lot more in life insurance, but this was found hidden in a small cedar chest in his bedroom, which this travel insurance policy will come back later on. So the insurance company released the original copy where he was the beneficiary, And there were also 2 additional policies, each for $6,250 for her daughter and sister. As in, like, Daisy's other child and her sister, like Jack's aunt. So basically they found out when Daisy would have died, Graham would have a large inheritance. So he and his mom pretty much fought over everything. People worried over some past events and their suspicions. Such as he bought a new truck and wrecked it in an attempt for insurance money. And someone else claimed, oh, it just stalled on the railway. So he was stuck. Like, okay, buddy. So people also worried about the explosion from the restaurant. He had been taking money from the restaurant, and apparently he had done some demolition work in the Navy. Okay. So now they're like, okay, we got to do a background check on Graham. And he was already a part of the probation office due to his previous crime. So he was employed as a payroll clerk at a manufacturing concern in Denver, March 1951. Oh, here it is, the forgery. He stole many blank checks, filling out 42 for $100 each, and forged the company owner's name. And he bought a convertible with about $2,000 of that cash. Where's the rest of the $2,200? What did he do with that? Savings? Probably, yeah. So, because of that, he was arrested on September 11th, 1951 in Lubbock, Texas for... Oh, no, he was arrested for a different reason. My bad. He was arrested for, quote, hauling whiskey in violation of Texas laws. What the fuck does that even mean? This ain't the prohibition, people. So, he served a 60-day sentence in county jail, and he was released to the Denver County District Attorney's Office for the forgery charge. He was convicted November 3rd, but his sentence was suspended, and he got a 5-year probation. So records show he served in the Coast Guard April 48 to January 49. He was given honorable discharge, and apparently he still got an honorable discharge, even though he fucking went AWOL for 63 days.
Depends on why he did.
I could not find out why. Couldn't tell you. So he would regularly report to the probation department on a monthly basis and was a heavy-duty equipment mechanic from January 1953 to December 1954. And then he moved to Denver to help Daisy at her drive-in restaurant as a manager. So that's why people were like a little sus of him. Not gonna lie. A lot of that is weird. So his first interview about the crash was on November 10th, and his half-sister was present. He gave info on himself and his family. Explained that when Daisy arrived to Denver in February 1955, well, you know what I mean. She came back. Basically to help with the second grandchild. So Jack's younger child. She lived with them at that point. According to him, an investigation of the diner showed someone disconnected the gas line until it ignited, causing the explosion. The damage was about $1,200, which isn't too bad. Not too bad. Could be worse. He admitted to the accident with the truck on the railroad as misfortune. Basically going along with it just stalled on the railroad and then a train ran into it. Like, okay, buddy. So he also claimed he had no ideas of the contents of Daisy's luggage, but she had a lot of shotgun shells and rifle ammunition with her for hunting caribou on her Alaskan trip. I know I said like they were going to like Oregon or something along those lines, but basically it was a connecting flight kind of situation. So that's why the Alaskan trip is a new detail. So Gloria was also interviewed the next day. She stated her mother-in-law traveled a lot and spent most of the summer with her business. She was not able to identify any definite info about the luggage and claimed Daisy never allowed anyone to help assist with the packing. You know, sometimes you just like to do it yourself. Understandable. I get it. So she claimed that her husband gave his mother a present on November 1st before she left for the airport, which was believed to be small tools like drills, files, and cutting tools for art. Understandable. The present was approximately 18 inches in length, 14 inches in width, and 3 inches in depth, which, girl, Gloria, that is very specific details. Very. How do you know the exact, like, length, width, and depth? Like, I wouldn't be able to. I'd just be like, it's a box. That's literally all I would say. So there were more interviews with relatives and associates of the family. They gave no new information. Neighbors heard about the trip and Graham giving his mother a new tool set for Christmas before leaving. Jack apparently became very ill shortly after hearing of the crash, which, again, a detail I'll discuss later. And they claimed he had not eaten nor slept, which is, like, really sad. But so fragments of her luggage were found, and the Grahams were called to confirm the identity of the luggage. They showed up the next day and confirmed that they belonged to Daisy. Graham was actually told to stay for further questioning, but Gloria was told she could return home to care for, you know, their babies. Because who was watching them at that point? Like, oh my God. Neighbor?
Maybe
Like,
that was common back then.
Yeah. If she trusted her neighbors, you know. So he was questioned on the reported ammunition and Christmas gift. The ammunition info was the same, but the Christmas gift did not match his wife's description. So, oops, we're getting discrepancies. Uh-oh. So he claimed he intended to purchase the tool set, but it turned out not to be for the intended use of art. So he just never bought it. Fair. And he just believed his wife was under the assumption that he did buy it. Happens sometimes. It happens. So he could give no explanation as to why he mailed himself a trip insurance policy taken out by his mother. He claimed that he threw it out. Bro, no, you did not. It's locked in a fucking chest. So he said his mother was leaving. When his mother was leaving, the family went to the coffee shop for dinner in the airport and had gone to the restroom by himself. Normal thing. He said he felt very ill due to the excitement for his mother's trip and possibly bad food. Understandable, dude. We all get food poisoning every now and then. It happens. So the Graham stories weren't perfectly aligning in a way, and it made him suspicious. So Graham was informed that he was a possible suspect due to these discrepancies. And Gloria signed a statement about her part of the story that conflicted with his. He was advised of his rights, which are anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, blah, 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 blah. You have the right to an attorney. Simple as that. And he had no objection in signing a statement and volunteered for a polygraph examination. Again, we don't like polygraphs. They don't really help. So agents were sent to search his home, vehicles, and property. In his home, they found a small roll of copper wire with yellow insulation found in his shirt pocket of work clothing, which is wire for detonation primer caps. And the trip insurance policy, of course, as we discussed before. And he was confronted with the findings and couldn't explain any of it away. He's not doing so great. So he also admitted to the diner explosion and the truck destruction. Said, yeah, I did it. He admitted to all of it. And the guilt got the best of him in general. He was like, I'm already admitting everything. Fuck it. And he admitted to causing the explosion for the crash. So he used a time bomb of 25 sticks of dynamite, 2 electric primer caps, a timer, a 6-volt battery. Huh, we found that 6-volt battery earlier. The one that said it's a hoe. So on November 17th, he was charged with murder and held without bail for Daisy's death. Not the 43 other people, including a fucking child. Just Daisy. So his half-sister admitted that she never felt comfortable with him. He was known to be sullen and violent. She did not like to be around him. She felt he was not mentally sound. On one occasion, he knocked her down and kneed her in the chest, actually injuring her ribs. And another time, threatened to hit her with a hammer, but she was able to lock herself in her room.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, that's a little scary, huh? So immediately after his arrest, he transferred most of his property to Gloria so he could be like, oh, I'm broke. And he was given 3 court-appointed attorneys. Which, you know what? Usually you only get 1. But to be fair, he was up for capital punishment. So he pled innocent by reason of insanity before, during, and after the alleged commission of the crime, but he was found legally sane by 4 psychiatrists. Like, bro, you're screwed. You screwed. So, he returned to Denver County Jail and was reportedly a model prisoner. He was quietly reading and chatted with the guards. Like, okay, bro, just trying to get through the day. I understand they probably are too, so a nice conversation here and there helps. But on February 10th, 1956, at about 5:30 p.m., a deputy sheriff found Graham suffocating himself with a garrote made from his socks and a piece of rolled cardboard for leverage. So sedatives had to be administered. He was placed in a straitjacket and returned to a psychiatric ward, and he was put under 24-hour surveillance. I'm not surprised, because bro tried to kill himself. So, when he was asked about his feelings towards the crimes, he told doctors he, quote, realized there were about 50 to 60 people carried on a DCB, but the number of people to be killed made no difference to me. It could have been 1,000. When their time comes, there is nothing they can do about it. It was not their fucking time. You killed them. So, on February 24th, 1956, he dropped his insanity plea. And then the trial was set for April 16th, 1956. There was actually a ban on photography in Colorado state courts, but they lifted it due to the publicity of this case. But they did give a little more free reign with it, being like, okay, if you are not comfortable being photographed or filmed, we're shutting it down. So they allowed some television cameras, but not all. There was like a booth in the back set up for the TV, pretty much. And the attorneys actually had a remote to cut the camera if Graham was like, I don't want this to be filmed. I need a break. Even like if anyone was satisfied, he's like, you know what, I don't want that recorded. Which that is like so respectful, giving them that opportunity. So a record number of jurors were called in Colorado for this case. And that is 231. They had to call that many people because a lot of them had objections to being a juror, which fixed opinions of Graham and people being opposed to capital punishment. Makes sense. Which, again, he was up for the death penalty. So if they were against it, they were not going to be a good juror. So the final jury consisted of 2 housewives, one of which a former beauty queen, slay girl, 2 typists, a movie executive, an engineer, a truck driver, a sales lady, a telephone man, a lithographer, a bookkeeper, and a salesman. So, just like a ton of different people with different views on life. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, lots of people actually wanted to see the trial happen, that they were lining up outside the courtroom. Obviously, you can only fit so many people in the fucking courtroom. But, so Graham actually came in calm and unbothered about everything. Like, he was slouching, he chewed gum, he was very nonchalant about the case. Like, I'm like, dude, you're fucking insane. And he refused to testify on his own behalf. I think he just knew he was going to lose the case, honestly. So, on May 5th, 1956, they deliberated for 69 minutes, and he was found guilty of murder in the first degree. We knew that was happening. So, his attorneys attempted to file a motion for a new trial, but it was denied. He was sentenced to death during the week of August 26th, 1956, while the exact date, time, whatever would be figured out later. But it got delayed to the week of January 12th, 1957, which I feel so bad about. Like, imagine, like, you're like, all right, my death is coming. Hey, guess what? You gotta wait a few more months. I would lose my mind. Be like, bro, I was ready.
I mean, he probably doesn't want to die.
I mean, I'm sure, but like, once you're, like, mentally like, all right, this is happening, and now you just gotta sit and wait for it again. So, he was executed by gas chamber on January 11th, 1957 at 8:08 p.m. And I tried to find his last meal. I always want to know, like, because you always get a last meal. I searched and searched and searched, and they were like, I couldn't find it. Which is sad. I want to know. Like,
Maybe
I think
he didn't have one.
he might have not had one. He might have, like, just said, "Nah, I'm good. Just give me the prison slob." Like, but, like, again, like, I think we only had one. I've only covered, after what, this is episode 19, I think, 18, 19, something like that. Almost 20 episodes, and I've only gotten one last meal, and that was Gacy. Everyone else either died before, or capital punishment was gone. Like, I wanted to know, because, like, he actually, like, was executed. But yeah, I'm sorry to traumatize you before you're about to get on a plane at 3:30 in the morning. But with security measures nowadays, I don't think anyone's going to bring 25 sticks of dynamite.
Maybe not.
I hope not. But yeah, that was the first mass murderer I have covered, Jack Gilbert Graham. Which, come to think of it, when I ever covered Jonestown, that's going to be like a very fine line between mass murderer and serial killer.
Jonestown is a mass murder.
Yeah, it's a mass murder, but he's still a serial killer because I think he killed some people before. That's why I'm saying it's a fine line.
Well, if him himself is a serial killer, but the Jonestown itself is mass murder, so sucks. Shucks.
All right. Hit me with the ghosts. I gotta eat lunch.
It's not ghosts.
It's not a ghost?
No.
What is it?
I don't think you're gonna like it. To be honest, I didn't like it. But, like, I did the entire thing, and I was like, I actually don't know if I like this.
Yeah, the one that I was going to cover, if I didn't finish Graham, I was like, I think I told you, like, I spent like 2 weeks doing those notes because I just was so uninterested, and it's 15 pages.
Yeah. This is short, though, and, like, obviously, I don't want to talk for that long.
Yeah, especially because you got to go to work soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock.
So I didn't want to, like, talk for that long because of my voice and work. So it's short, but I don't really like it. But it's kind of a bunch of theories, like, around the same kind of thing.
That's just a theory. A ghost theory.
Oh, well, they're not ghosts.
I know, but I couldn't think of anything else. I don't know what it is.
So this actual concept I was actually kind of interested in, like in general, like I've always been
Hmm.
interested in it, but doing it, it was just lame because there's just like not a lot of information because it's very theoretical. Like there's no
Yeah.
basis in reality at all, which
Hmm.
like you can only get so much based on theories.
Yeah.
So, like, those freaky dreams that you have sometimes that feel
Yeah.
like they're super, super real?
Hmm.
Like, what if they're not dreams?
Did I tell you about that like crazy dream I had with a mouse jumping on me?
Yes. What if they're
I
not dreams?
I really hope a mouse didn't fucking jump on me. Cause like it was one of those dreams where you can feel it through your senses. And like I was literally sleeping in bed. I hated
So,
it.
um, but I don't mean like the mouse actually jumped on you. Here,
I hope not.
maybe the mouse jumped on you in a different reality.
That's totally possible. I mean,
But basically, that's what we're talking about.
mm,
Dreams as alternate realities.
mm.
So, I would love if my dream where I'm like a K-pop idol doing a collab dance stage with Nicki from ENHYPEN is like
Right.
real in another reality, but like
That ain't happening,
I
bro.
don't I don't think that's real in
Not
another
this
reality
reality.
either. I don't think it's real in another one either.
Nah, we're not that good.
Okay. So I did do some digging though on like Reddit and stuff. Reddit is not very reliable for truth, but I wanted Reddit stories because people like say funky stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. So there is this one story that I'm gonna read to you first because the theories, there's not a lot of theories. I had to fill in some fluff, okay?
Yeah, fair enough.
So the story I basically like um took it from it and like
Hmm.
didn't copy and paste it. So it's not in his words. I like put it
Yeah.
in mine. So every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., Daniel fell asleep. But he didn't just like drift off. Like when you fall, like you feel like you're falling in your dream.
Hmm.
He felt like he was falling in his dream, but he wouldn't like jerk to wake up.
Oh
And then
shit. That's like
in
the worst
his
feeling.
so he would wake up in an apartment. It had the same layout as his, the same city, but
Hmm.
the walls were a darker shade. There wasn't as much noise outside as he was used to, and he had a very different life in this dream.
Oh.
So he had a job that he didn't know. He had friends that he had never met, and he was married to a woman who he didn't know. So at first he thought they were just vivid dreams, but they didn't reset every night. So each night he would pick up where the last one left off. So if something happened the night before and he had a conversation with his wife about a kid's soccer game, that conversation would continue the next night, and every decision he made mattered. So like when he would fall back asleep the next night, the decision he made the night before, it happened. And he went through months of this. He got promoted. He fell in love in this world. Obviously, he was married. He learned the rhythm of that life, but his real life, like the one that he thought was his real life, it started like slipping away. Like he started becoming late to work because he wanted to stay asleep in this reality. He became distant from his friends. He was exhausted all the time. And one night, the woman in his dream looked at him and said, "You're staying longer than you used to." So then Daniel laughed it off and was like, "Ha
I
ha
hate
ha,"
that. I hate
until
it.
he woke up to go to work and realized that only 10 minutes had passed. Like he had only slept 10
Hmm.
minutes.
Damn.
And the next night he stayed for what felt like 3 days.
Hmm.
Then he would feel like he stayed for a week, then longer, and he started to panic because he started to lose sight of which reality was actually the real one. Like
Hmm.
he could not tell which one
Hmm.
was real. And then on the last night, So actually, I forgot to tell you, this story is not from Daniel. The story is from a family member of his.
Got it. This
So,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, you're good.
Do you discuss shifting?
Yeah,
Okay, because this is what it exactly sounds like, is like
yeah.
shifting to an alternate universe. So you can go to your freaking desired reality and go live at Hogwarts or something.
I wanted to do that so bad when I was a kid.
I tried shifting before. It did not work. I tried quite a few times. It doesn't work.
Anyway,
Not for
on
me,
a
at least. It does for
I don't
some
know.
people.
So on the final night, he felt like everything became stable. It felt permanent. He woke up in the middle of the night because his family member came into the room. So it woke him up. And his family member was like, "Are you okay?" Like, blah, blah. And he's like, "Yeah, I feel like super, super at peace. I was having this dream about this other reality, like blah, blah, blah." And his family member was like, "Hmm?" He went back to sleep. And when he went back to sleep, the woman in his dream, his wife, held his hand and said, "You don't have to go back to the other reality anymore. Like, you can stay
Mm-hmm.
here." Freaked him out. He woke up. His family member was still in the room. It was only like 2 minutes that he was back
Damn.
asleep. He woke up and he was like, "What the fuck? Like, the woman told me I didn't have to come back here anymore." And his family member was like, what the fuck
That's some
happened?"
other mother shit.
Yeah. But then he went back asleep
Oh, God.
and he never woke up. So in his real
Like, he's
apartment,
still in a
his
coma to this day.
no, he like died.
What the fuck?
So his alarm rang, his phone was buzzing, his family members were waiting for him. You know, some people just say he died in his sleep, like he died right there.
But,
But,
like,
you know,
you don't just
this family
die.
member, yeah, no, this family member thinks that he chose the other reality
Yeah. I mean, he had a
and
wife, he
didn't
had a
want to,
kid. Like,
he didn't want to come back. And obviously, may or may not be real. Reddit is not very
Reddit is not
reliable,
always trustworthy.
but we'll never know because Daniel is dead.
Rip. Honestly,
So,
Daniel, you created the world of shifting at this point, but now I'm scared that, like, people are just gonna die.
okay. Anyway, that
But
was
isn't
the
that
first story.
that's fucking insane? Like, cause who knows? Maybe he died because like the time works differently. You can set the like time frame. Like I like one day or like one day in your desired reality is 5 minutes in your current reality, kind of thing. You set the time, so maybe he died in that desired reality, so he died in real life.
Maybe.
His body aged wrong.
But anyway, there are a few different theories that exist about the concept of dreams as alternate realities.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I'm honestly just going to go through them.
Yep.
Um, so
I'm
the
gonna
overall
eat my
claim of
ramen.
the overall claim of dreams as a parallel universe is that when you dream, your consciousness disconnects from your body and tunes into another version of yourself, like in another
Mhm.
universe. And so people say that like some dreams feel like a complete continuous life, like with Daniel. You fall asleep, wake up in another universe. You wake up in this one, and then the next night you pick up where you left off.
Mhm.
It doesn't start over or change, like with Daniel. So people will report waking up with emotional attachment to dreams, dream families, and their identities in the other dreams. Um, like when people have a baby in their dream
Mhm.
and they watch it grow up and like they wake up and then they miss this baby that they never had.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? Um, but certain dream worlds feel geographically consistent, so you'll have the same layout, same places over time.
Yep.
Nothing ever changes. But real dreams, that doesn't happen. No real dream is ever exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like scientifically, you can't have the same like exact dream where every single
Mhm.
detail is the same. There's always going to be something slightly different.
Yep.
Because that's just not how your brain works.
It's also like
So-
you can't dream a face you've never seen.
Yeah.
Your brain
That
just
means-
cannot create a face.
Bro, that means I've seen a really hot, like, Asian man somewhere
Oh
in my
my
life that I
God.
forget about.
Paul, weigh in?
It doesn't even look like Paul.
Paul, I think you need to weigh in on this one. Talk to your girlfriend. She's
I mean, he
crushing
doesn't
about
care.
a man.
It's just some, like, random, like, Asian guy, but I don't even know who it is. Like,
You probably saw, like, I don't know, like a group debut, and now they're like falling off the face of the earth.
I don't know.
Is it Cordis?
But no, I know Cordes.
Okay. I don't know what
But-
boy groups you don't know. All Hours?
I'm a boy group stan. I feel like I
know.
know all of them.
I'm
but-
in all everybody stan, including
think-
X-Love, who is a gender fluid group.
Oh, I do
We love
like
X-Love.
too.
We love X-Love.
The only girl group I stan is La Seraphim. Anyway, another
Anyway.
claim is that your brain filters reality when you're awake, but like during sleep, that filter weakens, which allows access to other layers of existence. So this idea has been explored by thinkers like, I don't know how to say this, Aldo Huxley. Don't know who
Spell
that
it.
is. Aldous.
Aldous?
I don't know. But Huxley described the brain as a reducing valve that limits perception and like opens up when you are in more like vulnerable states. So it can happen like when you're having anxiety too.
Mhm.
But the claim suggests that dreams might be glimpses of realities that are normally hidden. They're obviously all sort of the same concept, but like they come
Mhm.
from different things.
Yeah.
So, like, psychedelic like dream states could be expanded perception, not hallucinations. But this would go hand in hand with like some psychedelic drugs where sometimes people go on the drug at the same time and they see the same thing without
Yep.
like talking about it,
Mhm.
which implies that it actually opens their perception to be more aware of what's hidden behind our consciousness. So, this shows, like, what if dreaming is an imagination and we're actually just recepting signals
Yeah.
that are normally blocked? So we have the real locations theory, which claims that recurring dream settings aren't just reused brain material, they're actually places your consciousness revisits. So when you're having recurring dreams in the same location, it's not just your brain
Mhm.
reusing that material, it's happening again and again and again in another universe, that location is more prevalent in your life. So, like, if you've been to a location once, you've only seen it once, and you go to sleep and you constantly have a dream in that same location, it doesn't change. But, like, what you do there changes. That
Mhm.
location is more prevalent in that alternate reality to you.
Gotcha.
So, like, you're just not reusing that brain material. You're shifting somewhere else
Mhm.
that, like, has it.
Yeah.
So, the common reports for that one include people describing detailed maps of like their dream cities. Like they see it enough times they can draw a clear map of like where they live. The same buildings, streets, or environments appear over years. Like they see the same exact thing over and over. And time progresses between their visits. So there's a recurring theme that shows up again and again in dream communities online, and that's people describing what feels like the same place returning to them over and over a couple years. I feel like I'm just repeating myself.
It's okay.
So, one of the most common versions is another story that I found on Reddit. So, I'm going to read it. Like I said, Reddit is not totally reliable. Take this with a grain of salt.
Okay.
So, a person starts having dreams as a teenager, and at first they're very random. They just seem like normal dream fragments. But one night, that teenager finds themselves in a very specific place, a city that they don't recognize, but in the dream, it feels very familiar to them. So, like, it feels like they have history with this place, even though they normally don't know
Mhm.
what this place is. The sky is always slightly empty. The sky doesn't seem as bright as real life, even when it's during the day. And over time, there's a layout that they begin to remember. They say that there's a bus station near a long concrete bridge. There's a cluster of old apartment buildings with identical stairwells, and a convenience store that never has a clear sign. So, like, the sign is always dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So, months later, they return to the same place in another dream, but it's not reset. It's like time
Okay.
passed. So, more infrastructure has been built up, more things have broken down. The damaged wall that they saw a couple months ago, it's still damaged. A staircase that they once climbed still leads to the same hallway. They remember what happened before they were there, even though they logically shouldn't remember. So, a common detail that people report is they'll encounter dream characters who act like they've met them before, but like
Mm-hmm.
they have no clue who this person is. So, like, a shopkeeper says, "You're back early this time," but they've never been there before. They're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, like who the fuck are you to tell me that?
So over time, some people start mapping the place. They remember routes, shortcuts, dangerous areas, safe ones, and it stops feeling like random dreams, and they'll start feeling like they're revisiting a location. And um, eventually, the pattern fades. So the dreams stop, the location becomes harder to reach, and when it does return, it's usually in very fragmented pieces. And what's consistent across almost all of the stories that I saw is that it's not just a random dream. It happens all the time. They kept coming back to the same place, and even after they woke up, they remembered it and felt like where they were was real.
Hmm. Okay.
So the next one is a theory that I find probably the most spiritually aligned. It just confuses me a lot. No
Okay.
clue how you do this,
Okay.
but it's shared dreaming, where two people, like two or
Mm-hmm.
more people, can occupy the same dream. So, like, friends will dream about the same location on the same
Yeah.
night and be together, or like people will
Mm-hmm.
recognize each other in their dreams. Um, so this theory suggests connected consciousness, basically meaning that minds can link during sleep and enter a shared dream plane. And it
Mm-hmm.
includes astral meeting spaces, which means dreams are non-physical realms where souls interact with each other. And it also includes mutual visitation, where one person enters another person's dream, where they both can access it. So the theories, like I said, there's not a lot. Like, there's no basis in reality for this. Like, actually, there's the exact opposite. Like, there's stuff to prove that this is not real
Mm-hmm.
in reality. So it's kind of hard to make like a big story
Yeah.
about it. But um, I want to believe it.
I do
But
too.
science,
Science says
science
no.
science says that like during sleep, your brain is highly active. The areas tied to
Yeah.
emotion, memory, imagination, they light up. And the parts that are responsible for logic, they dial down. And then this combination creates experiences that
Mm-hmm.
feel real, even more vivid than like you would feel in your real life. And that's why they sometimes feel like a different world because your brain is more tuned into the creative part.
Mm-hmm.
So there is memory processing ideologies where dreams often remix fragments of your experiences, emotions, and thoughts. So your brain is essentially reorganizing information and you just recognize it. Um, there's simulation theory where researchers suggest dreams act as a rehearsal space. So you might practice social situations, fears, or problem solving in a more safe environment. There's activation synthesis theory where random neural activity gets woven into a narrative by your brain. And then there's lucid dreaming, which is when you
Mm-hmm.
realize that you're dreaming and you can control the environment that you're in. So, you know, philosophically speaking, people obviously have long entertained the idea of like dreams as alternate realities,
Yeah.
but there's just too much objective science for it to even be rooted in reality. This is kind of
Yeah.
something you believe just because you want to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't something that has proof, and that's why the theories are so bleh.
Yeah.
Because you can only create so much when there's so much scientific proof to prove against it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I've had dreams that feel like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like,
we all have.
literally, the dream. I literally wrote down the dream that I had about me and Nikki. Like, I literally was like under JYP, and for some reason, me and Nikki had a collab dance stage.
Okay.
No clue why, but like
Why
a
not?
lot of random things happened. Like, we were running the routine, the lights flickered, but no one else noticed. Only I noticed. It was weird. I'm like obviously saying this kind of quickly because my throat hurts.
And we got stuff to do today.
You know, I don't feel like saying the rest of this. I'll tell you this at another time. Nobody else needs to hear this.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Corey is dying, so that means I have to do sign off. Yeah, no. I firmly believe in shifting. I physically cannot do it. I have tried multiple ways. I have never been able to succeed. This was back in like high school. But yeah, those who have succeeded, congratulations. I hope you're enjoying that alternate reality. And she's choking on her tea. So yeah, let me do the sign off real quick. TikTok, let's spill the tea.0304. Instagram, let's spill the tea pod. Email, if you want to send us, like, if you just want to talk to us or give us some recommendations, lstt.pod@gmail.com. What am I missing? I'm missing something. Linktree. The Linktree is, this is why it's your job. The Linktree is in our Instagram and TikTok bios, so you can find us. You can click, if you find us on social media, you obviously can just go to whatever viewing platform we're on at the time. Right now, it's just Spotify and YouTube because I don't want to pay for Apple Podcasts. But yeah, I think we spilled that tea, and I'm going to just say Corey also agrees, and that's it. Bye-bye.